Before saying anything about what education is for, I think I'll say what it is definitely not for, even though this is more often than not expressed as what education is, particularly in the West for a long time. What it is not for, I think, is the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic, which for a long time, by mistake, I feel, has been associated with being educated. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are all intellectual exercises which alone cannot be education. Whereas education, I feel, is the way of bringing out the best in a human being from childhood for a range of things, from very basic needs like feeding oneself, protecting oneself, being comfortable, being able to communicate, being happily with other people, being able to collaborate, to more mental and then finally spiritual heights. And for that, what in Ladakh, and especially in Operation New Hope, which we launched as a movement to bring reforms in education in Ladakh, in government schools, and very much practiced at the SECMOL alternative school, we contrasted to the 3 R's by saying that more than 3 R's of the head, we need 3 H's for a holistic development of a human being. So the 3 H's, we believe, are hands, which symbolizes more the skills of the kind that you need for survival, safety, securing yourself, and then feeding yourself, skills that are real world skills like growing your own food, making your own clothes, surviving even if your systems break, survival, and also, of course, being able to earn something of a livelihood to support yourself and your dependents. But this is not the end of education. Many times, sadly, education remains this much, livelihoods and so on. This is perhaps the beginning of what education should prepare people for, from the basic needs of life, from safety and security and livelihoods, to, then we say, after the hands, head. The bright head that we again associate with in our education system, the algebra, the mathematics, the languages and so on. Again, most unfortunately, we get stuck with it and think of that as education, and head alone cannot serve the purpose for human existence on this planet, or the planet's well-being also. Head we address very big in all our schools. It's almost about this part, the intellectual exercise that we do in our schools gets limited there, whereas it is a little more complete if we include the skills of the hands also. So the skills of the hands and head is where I see best of schools going today. Best of educational institutes go from intellectual pursuits of the head to the better ones. Even better ones are known for more experiential education, more hands-on education, involving the skills of the hands also. But that also is not enough, because just with the head, a big ego, and skills of the hands, there could be disasters. A pickpocket has very sharp head and very sharp hands, and that will cause a lot of damage to the world when it comes to terrorist groups, and you know what all happens. The Twin Towers was brought down with a lot of skills of the head and the hands. It is only when the heart develops, the kind heart, the third edge, that education becomes complete. And this again ranges from being full of empathy for others, being mindful, to spiritual pursuits towards self-actualization. So therefore, to me, education is a range starting from the basics of survival to intellectual pursuits to self-actualization. Enlightenment, if you may call, is the final goal of education. And that, I think, is what all institutions, organizations, efforts that try to educate people on this earth should pursue, going higher and higher on the pyramid. And our schools have to address the current needs of the times. Maybe 300 years, thousands of years ago, our most important need was skills of the hands, because we were hunter-gatherers, maybe settled farmers. Then came the Industrial Revolution, and more of the head was needed. The sciences were needed, the maths was needed, and our schools reorganized to cater to that. But now we know what that has done. The world is on the brink of collapse with all kinds of unprecedented environmental challenges. And therefore schools have to be updated and upgraded to address these challenges. So the schools should be about undoing what the 300-year-old system did to the planet. Schools should be about healing the planet rather than still conquering nature and exploiting resources and so on. Unfortunately, I am told this is not like this. For some forester was telling me that forestry institutes around the country train people in how to exploit forests, how to cut trees and so on, not how to propagate forests. We are running at least 60 years late when these challenges were not even known of what this kind of forestry does to the planet. So it needs to all upgrade to be current and address what we are going through right now. So therefore, education has to be holistic and it has to be current. It has to be upgraded. We upgrade all our softwares with versions 2, 3, 4, but education, it seems, has not been upgraded for a long time. And I hope conferences like this, people brainstorm, heartstorm, handstorm, and do that. Thank you very much. Thank you.